let's do this. I am from Tajikistan.
And I am from Florida.
We met in Los Angeles. Isn't it so glorious? Okay, I need you to pick it up. Okay? A little bit better. Just the touch. We were drinking tea.
Yeah, we were sipping tea.
And that is how the show
Yeah, that's how the show.
was born and came to be. Now that's much better.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
see? I know you
No,
can
no,
do
no. I
it.
actually like the other one.
Well, I'm not asking you which one you like, because it's going to be which one I like.
I swear to God.
Yeah, well, we know. Let's just start the show, okay?
God.
Hey! Welcome back to Tea Talks with
Yosha.
and
Irina.
we're back with yet another topic. Today we decided to talk about education.
Edumacation. Love that.
I feel like it's truly underrated.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm the type of person that likes to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I feel like it's a lifelong journey. But the reason we want to talk about it is because, well, I personally have been very impacted lately with this particular read. I actually posted about it.
Okay.
It's called The Premonition by Michael Lewis. The book itself is not the point here, but what I'm saying is it's amazing what a good writer can expose you to and what kind of inspiration you can draw from it and really use that to propel yourself forward. So for me personally, when I have a good book in my hand and I read it and it sparks up all these creative juices in me and makes me think and really makes me restructure my paradigm,
Right.
I find that to be incredible because I feel like it's a talent for somebody to leave such an imprint on you that it changes you forever.
Absolutely.
And I don't think you can get there without education.
Yeah.
Education is what changes you forever.
It does.
And why? Because ignorance is bliss, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no amount of work necessarily in ignorance, meaning when it's dark, right? You
Right.
just know one color and that's it.
Mhm.
Would you say?
Absolutely.
But I feel like the more you know, the more you find this appreciation for just how many layers there are to knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you think you've learned everything there is to learn about a subject,
There's
whatever
more.
it may be, there's always more. And I think that's a beautiful thing
I think so too.
because then there's just, my favorite Abraham that I listen to. She says, you are never wrong and you are never done. And that rings true to me, that you are never done. So the reason I like this phrase is because there's no finite feeling to how much life we can really pack into us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to give an example from this book why it struck me so vividly and so powerfully. It talked about this particular woman. Her name is Charity Dean. Shout out if you ever see our program. But her story was just short of amazing. I don't even know what the word I would use, but when you read it, it's like, wow. So this girl comes from a small town,
Okay.
and she was raised in a religious community, but one of those, I'm not knocking religion, disclaimer, but she was raised in a religious community where she grew up, and when she would go to school, during science classes, for example, she was not allowed to attend science classes because it was
Oh.
against her religion.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was like, no, this does not work with our world.
Yeah.
But she wanted to be a doctor.
Interesting.
And when she grew up, basically she lived in a community where her world was predetermined.
Okay.
Like we were talking about places like that, where a woman is to be raised, to be married, to have children.
Kids. Yeah.
This is it. That's your
future.
purpose in life. She didn't see that for herself. And I mean, think about it. A girl who is raised in the environment where there is no other source of information. She just knows what she knows, meaning she's entirely submersed into this religion and all of these beliefs. So how do you know anything better than that, right? So what is motivating you to go against the grain so much so? Because it's almost like risking your life.
In a way, but I feel like if she knows like she's not happy, right?
But
There's
I'm
something
saying
else
when you're
that
repressed that much, you're typically not in a frame of
mindset of going against it.
of like, oh, I can do something about it, because nothing of that sort has been instilled in you.
Now, what
You see
year?
what I'm saying?
What was the time frame of this? young
Now.
woman? Oh, so there we go. So
It's
even
current.
if even that's amazing. So I think because it's so current, I'm not saying this is everybody's case, but I think for her, maybe it's because there are other options and examples out there, women going against the grain. You see
Absolutely, but I'm saying
that. Might not have access to it, but
yes,
well,
and that's
I mean,
kind
there's
of like
internet.
that is like that's what was so invigorating to me about the story, is because it's like, here's a woman, just a tiny blonde from a small town who has so much already against her, right? You heard, a tiny blonde from a small town. You know how all of these things are already working against you in our world.
Yeah.
So, but long story short, she got a permission from the elderly community she got permission to go to school, with the stipulation that when she's done with college, she gets married.
Oh,
Or
wow.
something like this. I may be a little
Wow.
bit off with the details, but something to that effect, which she agreed to because she really wanted to go to school. And
Interesting.
in class, when she was doing the best, the elderlies were frowning upon her for that. She's like, we need you to do just the very
minimum.
The minimum. Like, you just need to. In other words, everything that she did great was looked down upon.
Oh, wow.
So literally, her whole life, everything was going against her. Is my point, and beating all of these odds and becoming this incredible. I believe she became a surgeon. Yes.
Wow. Good for her.
And she was infatuated with infectious disease.
Hmm.
Imagine somebody being in love with it.
I don't understand that. but
Exactly. My point is, you are born for it. If you're in
Absolutely.
love with infectious disease, you are meant to be doing that,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she answered her calling.
Yeah.
She followed it. But how much resistance she had to overcome to get there.
Mhm.
And
Where is she located now, if I may ask?
right now, she's in California.
There we go. You see, guys, she left her town and went to a place that's more liberal and open-minded.
Well, I
I
don't
get
know
it. You
exactly
wanna-
right now where she is, but based on the story, last where she was in California because
mean,
she
yeah.
was part of working the whole COVID response.
Okay, gotcha.
But even there, she happened to be by accident, meaning, not by accident, but sort of, meaning that everything that she had to do, she had to fight for it. She had to, it's like when you have a person who is born to be doing something, knows exactly what they're doing, and constantly study and update their knowledge because they're so immersed into it and they love it.
Right.
They're the go-to person
Right.
with a certain subject, i.e. infectious disease in this case, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of adversity she had to face in order to get to where she wanted to get.
Right.
Side note, 4 children, 3 or 4,
She had 4 children
3 or 4 children, and
At that
still
time?
has done all of that.
at that time, and also
well,
married.
she was married, then she
Oh.
got divorced,
Okay.
but she had 4 children from the marriage, and
Okay.
meaning she still accomplished what she needed to
Yeah.
accomplish. And her first job was as excuse me, a public health officer, I believe
okay.
they're called. The least desirable job for someone who's a doctor. But again, she said yes to it because her calling that's the job that resonated with her.
Yeah.
And you guys, there's a reason for things like that. That's why I'm so keen about listening to what, your core,
Yeah.
to what resonates with you. Because to the rest of the world, it's a shitty job, excuse my language. But to her, that was the answer.
Right.
And she did not know that answer until, a couple of years ago. So it was 20 years into making, or plus or minus, for her to get to fulfill her destiny.
And
But during that time, she was always at the right place at the right time, but it felt like the wrong place at the wrong time because
all the opposition. And
yes,
people
because of the opposition, because of the she's so smart. You know, sometimes you meet people who are so smart that they're beyond you,
yeah,
and you think they're crazy.
right.
Crazy smart.
Okay.
Crazy smart. That the regular folk just take you for like an alien because that's how it is. So anyway, my point to the story is sometimes you do feel alone even in your greatness.
That's very true. 1,000.
And it takes a certain event, a certain audience, a certain kind of situation for you to really come through and shine. And even when you're ready to shine, the world not necessarily is
Will
going
accept
to
you.
be.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, it takes so much, so many, like sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, right? And this person will propel you somewhere. But other times, you get to shine only when all of the other options have been exhausted and people have no choice but to defer to you because you're probably the only one with the answers.
Yeah.
That's kind of the situation that was described in this book.
Okay.
There was just a few people who literally, well, saved the United States when it comes to COVID response.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I said I have so much more appreciation after having read this book. It's called The Premonition by Michael Lewis. I so recommend it. It's such a great read. But anyway, so that's what inspired me. It's like we should talk about education because it really truly is bringing light so you can break out of those kinds of communities when your calling says so. Like, I don't find anything rewarding in living in ignorance. I personally don't. Do you?
No.
She's like, no. I mean, I understand that for some, there's not much that they need,
Mhm.
and they're happy being with that little bit. But if you want more, shouldn't you be allowed to have more, right?
Why not? If
So-
you want it, go for it and get it. That's
That
simple.
story was very like, I hope this story inspires someone too, that to say, like, literally, it made me want to be a scientist. And I'm never interested in science. It's not my cup of tea. But when I was reading about it, I was like, you know what? I think in my next life, I want to be a scientist. Because these are the crazy people who step out on the edge and hypothesize and come up with novel things. I mean, the way their brain works is outside the norm.
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily applying what they learned. It's more like they are creating that which everybody else will learn later. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
crazy to me.
I feel like that goes for anything, right? There's genius in every type of,
True.
you
In
know,
every
we're like,
discipline.
I don't understand this person. They don't seem like they're on the other end, but
Right. In another world.
doesn't mean that they're crazy. Just to us, it's like it's foreign
Just
because
pointing
we
at
don't.
No, but it's true. Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, that's crazy. That's preposterous. And it's like, no, it doesn't mean that. You know, I think it's just you know, it's really dismissive to call someone crazy. You don't know what's in
Right.
their head. You know,
Well, I mean, to me, that's a compliment anymore.
I think so too.
Crazy, weird, all these things, odd. Typically, you know, to me personally, I was like, okay, so I'm off the beaten path. Thank you.
Yes, she is.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. That's okay.
Oh boy, but I mean, who wants to be normal? And I think it takes a certain type of person
Some people,
to
a lot of
step
people
out.
want to be normal.
I mean, like it takes I don't, but it takes a certain person to step out and do something that's not on the, I guess what
beaten
society,
path?
the beaten path. Yeah, what society says you should do, and like she said, she went out and stepped out, even in where she was. So anything's possible. If it's for you, it's for you. I think that goes back to that. I don't think everybody can just do what she did because it takes
Well,
a
look,
certain
it is
mindset.
for you. It was for her,
It is.
but she had to fight for all of it.
But think about it, there's a lot of people that have a lot of things that they want out and to birth out of themselves, but it's some people just don't take it, you know.
What do you mean?
Like just Like she just had this desire to not do the normal, like be a housewife, just be home
Right.
and have the regular schmegler 9 to 5
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, she did do that.
Oh, she did.
Well,
she
the
was.
public, health office is regular
Oh,
schmegula.
but
Well, meaning,
but
you're
on a
still
higher
within the
paying
system.
scale.
Not
No,
necessarily.
she's not.
That's
She
my
wrote a
point.
book, right?
Huh?
She wrote a book
No, somebody wrote a book
about her. Oh, well,
Yeah.
she's probably pretty famous. Not maybe famous.
I'm not talking about fame.
not
or
famous,
anything.
but like she's out there. She's definitely not getting paid like low.
Well, by
pay.
now, probably not.
Yeah.
By now, probably not. But she started off, like I said, the least popular job,
Oh, well, good for
which
her.
doesn't really pay well when you're a doctor. And the amount of responsibility that comes with it is incredible.
That's
And the
right.
amount of, in other words, she had to put herself on the line all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She had to be brave a lot of the time.
Good for her.
And there's a cost associated with that. You're constantly wondering if you're going to get fired. You're constantly wondering if you're going to get discriminated against, especially in her line of work.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with an infectious disease, you have to make some very hard choices. Like, if I shut down this college because of the meningitis outbreak
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't go any further, people don't see the potential of the disease. So they don't understand why I did what I did.
Right.
So all they're going to be is angry at me for having stopped their workflow.
Right.
But they don't understand that I've just saved them from hundreds of more new meningitis cases, for example.
mhm.
And that's the eye-opener that was for me
Okay.
in terms of reading this book, is like, wow, I have great respect for people like that
Mm-hmm.
who will put themselves on the line, so much so that it causes them their own life's choices. It can cause them, well, first of all, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Think about how much you have to have it in you to be able to put yourself out there like that, and there's nobody backing you up.
Right.
It's all on you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have faith in you to take that step. To me, that's incredible. Those kinds of people have immense respect for me, because not everyone is able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I often question myself, if I were in someone's shoes, whatever the situation, how would I be? Anytime I admire someone, it's easy to look from an outside looking in, saying, oh my gosh, that is so great, I would probably do the same thing. Bull. If you really take inventory of who you are and put yourself in the situation and really walk yourself through every step of the way and consciously think about how you would be, I promise you, easier said than done most of the time. Not saying that your capabilities. We all know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I know that maybe I freeze when there's a situation of crisis instead of diving in. Like my daughter, great in crisis. She just goes right in and she knows exactly what to do, when to do it. She would be a great EMT, first responder, for example.
Awesome.
But having to admit that to yourself is very tough.
Why is that tough?
Because nobody wants to be a loser.
That doesn't make you a loser, though. It just depends
But
how you
in
look
your
at
mind, it does.
it. But you gotta be kind to your mind. This one here is really tough.
Well, you know
on
what I'm
yourself.
saying.
I understand.
I'm talking about the
In
majority
general, yeah.
of people out there.
You're not a loser, guys.
You are not used to critical thinking.
Right.
So when you apply that and you're actually honest about it, you are not so comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a skill that you have to develop and actually get used to.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong?
You're right.
Thank God. But anyway, education is important.
Very much so.
Guys, learn, learn, learn.
Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Whatever it is that piques your interest,
Keep
develop
reading
that
them, yes,
knowledge.
to the highest level.
That is your calling. And it's given to you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now, but 20 years from now, you may get your chance to shine. And even if you don't, that's not the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't, you are doing what you are meant to do, because
Yeah.
you are immersed in it so much you love it, right?
That's it.
So, but don't shy away from it, because yes, it's hard. It is effort. Learning things is effort. It's easier not to do anything, obviously. I mean, I know I'm being very redundant right now. Gosh, I'll just drink my coffee.
No, what she's trying to say is it's very important to continue to learn. Like you can never like get to a point and say, "Oh, I've learned enough." No, there's never enough of learning. You gotta, and it's exciting. The more you learn, the more you know. Just I think it's just the better life is. I think too, for yourself and the possibilities of certain doors opening for your life because I know this opens at this door because I know how to do this. Like for me, for example, for even in film, and really quickly, I'll just touch on it.
No, go.
Because I learned how to edit myself, I can take editing jobs, or I've done this or that. I can do more things instead of being really in one thing, and that's all I know. So never stop learning. Why not learn it all?
She made it she touched on a very important point, actually. Great job, Miosha.
I don't get that often.
I want to take
Go
the
for it.
deliciousness of it
Take
and
it.
really give you guys the flavor.
Make the flavor. Make the chicken.
She loves chicken.
I do.
She made a good point. The more you learn, you become more. You become more resourceful, and that definitely feels a lot more satisfying. And that's what I was trying to say. So thank you for getting me there.
I got you.
Yeah, you do. It feels a lot more satisfying knowing how resourceful you can be, what other ways you can generate income, or what other ways you can just be useful to someone else outside of yourself. Even that little bit actually makes you happy if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's when you're saying, I can't, I don't know how. Those are the things that keep you, first of all, in the line of depression. I can even go as far as that.
Wow.
Because it's like, well, I don't know how. Okay, well, why don't you take the first step and start learning?
Yeah.
Instead of keep saying, I don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And those are the people who kind of are stuck in the same place in life. They're doing the same thing, and they're wondering when they're going to get further ahead in their own world.
Because they're not.
But they don't want to do the work.
That's deep. You got to do the work.
You've got to do the work.
Gotta.
Work is what makes us happy, guys.
It does.
The inertia does not bring about any happiness. It does not fuel you. Work does. And through work, you learn, you become better, you're just more. And I think that's wonderful. Think about it. It's how... Oh, I do not like it when my thoughts run so fast that I can't catch up to it with my words. What I'm trying to say is, yes, I'm thinking about it. And so, you know how they say energy begets energy?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's the same concept. Work begets work. So just take a step forward. First step, try something, and keep doing that little bit, and then you build on it a little bit more, and then you build on it a little bit more. And before you know it, you look back and you're like, oh my goodness,
You have an empire.
I kind of have come a little further than I was yesterday.
Yep.
Or a year ago. And that is a great feeling in itself.
It is. It is.
Because you've made progress. Progress is a good thing.
A great thing.
There is no glory in consumerism. There just isn't. But in creating, in being of service to others, in learning and becoming more, yes, then you're making the world a better place. One human being at a time. Period.
Because in our world,
The better it gets, the better it gets. That's just what's up.
That's what's up.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
Share your stories if you have any.
Yes.
But yeah, we will see you guys next time. Ciao. Mwah.
Ciao, Bella.